Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and I'm taking care of business. Joining me today is Marshall Toner, who is Executive Vice President, Managing Director of Industrial in Canada for commercial real estate firm JLL. Thanks for joining us today, Marshall.
Always good to join you, Mario, even on a nice snowy April day today.
Yeah, well, we got to do this next time at Palumbo's, right over a sausage, right?
All right, buddy.
All right, let's talk about the industrial real estate market in Calgary and area. Q1 report is out by JLL for the Calgary market. Vacancy is down to 1.9%. It's down from 5.3% a year ago. So is that about the lowest it's ever been?
Well, it's certainly very close in my 30 years in the business. I think we broke 2% one other time. I want to say around 2007. Not 100% clear on that, but I do remember it touching 2% at one time. And, you know, we like to see a market that's, you know, in the 5% range because we feel it's healthy for both landlords and tenants at that particular percentage. You know, I do see some relief coming in 2023, late 2023, early 2024, as some of the developers that have purchased land in and about the Calgary, greater Calgary area bring product to market.
All right. So what's driving this demand in the market right now?
It's the same thing we always talk about, Mario, distribution. That seems to be the secret sauce in the industrial world right now. E-commerce. Calgary is a very a good location for distribution for the Pacific Northwest and Western Canada, for that matter. Just where our geography is, we're positioned very well for trucking times and drive times for drivers. And so, you know, most of the major retailers or major players that have distribution throughout Western Canada tend to use Calgary as their hub for the West.
All right. Net absorption was close to 872,000 square feet in the quarter. That net absorption figure has been pretty constant, hasn't it been, for several quarters now?
Well, typically our absorption is somewhere between 2 and 2.5 million square feet. That's kind of been our trend. I mean, on average over the last number of years. I mean, last year it was over 7, which is off the charts. I think we're going to end up being in that 5 to 7 range again this year, just with all the demand that's going on. And there's enough product coming available that we should be able to meet that absorption. So yeah, it's a healthy number. It bodes well for our local industrial market.
All right, let's talk about land transactions and sales of land. What are you seeing lately in that area?
Well, because our vacancy is so low, developers are seeing an opportunity to acquire land and, of course, build product to meet the demand that's out there from various users. Balzac seems to be which is in Rocky View County, that seems to be the hot area right now. There's been 385 acres of land purchased there in the last 3 months by 4 different developers, including GWL Enright. They've got 140 under contract, or no, they've closed on. Anthem's at 140 acres, Dreams at 70 acres, and Beatty's close to finalizing a deal on 35 acres. So it's been very active out in that market. And on top of that, Mario, there's another 230 acres that are under contract, where prospective purchasers are going through their due diligence period. So and another 460 acres on the market. I think the bid date is in May for that. So it is a very active market in that Balzac area. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, it really feels like Calgary for any of the users that go out there. It's just across the ring road and very close to the airport. So it's positioned very well geographically.
Yeah, I was out there fairly recently for an announcement, you know, another, you know, distribution center for Walmart out in that area. And just driving around there, I just could not believe the level of construction that is going on and has already been built there.
Well, what's interesting about the Walmart deal, and also Winners just signed off on a lease for 585,000 square feet in Hopewell's Interlink Park. The Walmart deal and the Winners deal were both completed before the buildings were closed in and deliverable to the market. And that's rare for us. I mean, usually the buildings are fully enclosed, fully paved, sitting there ready for tenants. It's odd for us in the Calgary market to have deals done before construction is completed.
Well, speaking of construction, so there's 7.3 million square feet under construction right now. What I found interesting in the report, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounded like less than 1 million square feet is still available for lease. So 6 million square feet of that is already leased up?
Well, I don't quite see it that way, Mario, but the space that's coming to market right now is in the 7 million range. There's 1.5 million of that that's already absorbed.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I read that wrong then. So,
Yeah.
so 1.5 million of that that's already absorbed.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of spec development, right?
Well, that's typically the history of Calgary's industrial market, which has grown. It's doubled in size in the last 30 years, has been spec development. The developer buys the land, puts the building up, it's ready for occupancy, and that's when tenants typically come, and the lease out time could be anywhere from typically 6 to 9 months would be a nice number for most developers. Sometimes if the cycle dips, it could be as long as 1.5 years, 2 years. In this particular case, because our vacancy is so low and demand so high, and I referenced it earlier in this discussion, we're seeing pre-leasing before product is finished, and that's very rare here. It's always been spec development with respect to having it up and ready to go. If you put a sign on a piece of land and say, if Mario is a developer and he says, I will build a 250,000 square foot warehouse and I want a lease deal before I commence construction, your sign would be there for the next 10 years. So spec development has been traditionally the way developers have brought on space in the past.
Okay, super. And Marshall, when you look into the rest of this year, the final 3 quarters of the year, what's your outlook for the market?
Well, I think we're going to get our vacancy is going to stay tight, Mario, and there will be some relief that's going to come, like I said, in 2023, 2024, when this land that we've talked about earlier, when developers are able to get out there and scratch the dirt and start erecting steel and get the finished product up. So we're going to be tight here for the next year, 1.5 years. Vacancy is going to compress maybe a little bit more, and of course with compressed vacancy comes increased rental rates.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks very much, Marshall, for joining us today.
Thanks, Mario.
All right, super. That was Marshall Toner, Executive Vice President, Managing Director for Industrial in Canada for JLL. This has been Taking Care of Business. I'm Mario Toneguzzi. Thanks for joining us today.